So these two American pilots go down over Korea. They capture him, they beat the shit out of him and stuff. And the guy was talking about being in, they called it the Hanoi Hilton. It was where all the American POWs were housed in Hanoi, obviously. And for many years, John McCain was there. A lot of famous pilots that got shot down over in POWs were. But he said that only like 5 or 6 Americans ever gave more than name, like number, rank, and whatever the fuck. He's like, only 5 of us out of 1,200. That's not so bad. And you know what? They didn't go home any earlier. They didn't get any special treatment. But when they got out, we filed charges on them. It's like, damn. This guy, he was talking about the knock system that he had to use to communicate with another human being for years. He explained like putting the alphabet into this 5x5 block and excluding the letter C because you don't need it, and like knocking to communicate through walls. C can be replaced with K, like most of the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Or so S. he's knocking in these 5x5 sort of Morse code system through the walls. Somebody be like, just got tortured real bad, can't take it anymore. And they'd be like, we've all been through it. You can take it, like hyping each other up to like, and years they were there, 3, 4, 5, 6 years at a time. Those guys were over there just getting tortured. They would hang them from their arms backwards and stuff. John McCain,
dude, I'm doing like an hour-long set of telling them everything I know. After
the thing about the San Diego Air Base is, not a lot of anti-air out there. You know what I mean? Flat cannon, more like fat cannons.
Yeah. hey!
Don't you have your horn? Damn it!
Oh, fuck! God damn it! Where's my horn?
Yeah, I would. I guess if I was in the military, maybe I'd feel differently. But man, I don't want to get roughed up at all. To me, like when I watch torture scenes, I'm always thinking, I can't take it, man. I can't take it.
What are the ones that get you? Like the torture, because I know waterboarding is hell, terrible, but that one doesn't get me because it's like your teeth aren't being pulled out. Mm-hmm. You're like your fingers are still gonna work.
I'd rather get my teeth pulled out than waterboarded. I'd rather.
No,
you've never done the waterboarding thing.
See, yeah,
I've never had
but I've had a taste, and it's very scary. And the water is in your like windpipe and in your nasal passages, so you're always just blowing it out. You're covered with like snot, and your eyes are you can't see. Your knees are above your head. You're down, and you can't get it out because they're holding that cloth here. So you spit, but it doesn't come out. It just falls right back in your windpipe, and you get this gasp. Even now I'm getting a little short of breath thinking about it. It would bad.
Be terrible.
It's bad.
I'm sure it's terrible. And I've never had it, so I might change my tune if I were to experience it. But having never been tortured, the things I worry about most are the permanent disfigurement. Like even if it just cut off my one earlobe, I'm like, well, fuck it. I don't think I can get that back.
No.
Yeah.
Now they got some good.
He holds on to it for you.
I'd rather lose the ear than the nose, though, because I've seen those fake ears.
Shit.
It's essentially like Mr. Potato Head now. When you lose a nose or an ear, man, the ears look good. Nobody ever know. Can you imagine a chick sucking on your earlobe?
I picked the ear because it's
right off.
Because it's the like
don't stop, bitch.
It's the it's not functional. It doesn't do anything. It's just a mild cosmetic thing.
Yeah.
Dude, we had a guy in my high school with a fucked up earlobe genetically. He was like ostracized and
what it looked like
bullied.
Like a hippo's ear, like this little thing.
It almost looked like a cleft chin, like it had a divot in it that wasn't supposed to be there, like a pussy almost.
In his earlobe?
The bottom of his earlobe, and I think so. Yeah, instead of being like a natural curve like it's supposed to be, it had like a vagina crack in it.
And
damn,
y'all
kids are so fucking mean.
Oh my god, he committed suicide.
How noticeable
because of that?
Well, because of his ostracized life. Yeah.
Oh,
dude, I'd have gotten
it during high school. He did.
That's
he was
so
like
easy
a freshman in college. It was right after high school.
Oh, that's terrible.
It was maybe like the middle one.
Yeah. Well,
dude, the middle one looks totally fine compared to that left one. What's going on there?
Yeah, the left one's a boy, the middle one's a girl.
Yeah,
yeah. The one on
the right one looks
fucking...
like you could just knock that whatever that thing is right off.
It's Charlie Brown. That thing sticks out sideways.
Yeah, the one on the right.
None of these are good ears.
That guy on the right can't walk through doorways.
No.
That's so gross. I'm glad I don't have any ear pussy going on.
You got almost like an elf ear.
The funny thing though, you know what I just noticed? That guy on the left, that's not a genetic thing. I bet that he had his ear gauged and it blew.
Oh, dude, I bet you're right.
I'm probably wrong because I just haven't ever seen an ear with a tail. That's all.
Do you know anybody who has gauged ears?
Yeah, my girlfriend.
No, men. Do you know any men that have
I'm kidding.
large gauged ears?
You're supposed to make fun of my girlfriend if she has gauged ears. That's so gross.
I knew you wouldn't date a girl with gauged ears.
Oh my god. I saw a bitch with a gauged mouth the other day. Like,
you're watching her fucking chew.
You can see her bottom row. It was as big as a nickel.
She's like the body exhibit at the Science Museum. You can see like how mastication.
I'm sticking my
works.
dick in there.
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah.
Ear too.
That's where the best blowjobs are, right at the lower teeth.
Yeah.
That's
gotta go.
the quality angle. Yeah, no, I know someone who in college got gauged ears, and they did that thing where they got bigger and they went a little bigger, and now they don't want it anymore, and they got it sewed up, and it looks terrible.
Yeah,
like they cannot, like, it's like almost like a folded up flower. Like there's like a scrunchie almost, like a scrunchie.
I wonder if he went to someone not super talented. I thought they were able to really make gauged ears look okay.
He probably could have, but these are people who make decisions to gauge their ears, so they're not like
touche.
They're not on Angie's List, like looking up reviews on these surgeons and shit.
Yeah, I mean, nothing. To each his own.
They're going right to the ER.
I don't know. I don't want to fuck with those, but yeah, I was thinking of like the torture stuff.
Yeah.
I know that what we did, I've watched a lot of stuff about the CIA's torture early on, and those two guys who wrote the book on it. So the most effective techniques they decided was sleep deprivation and something called walling. So walling is when you shove someone against a wall real hard, and they like flat against their back, and knocks all the wind out of them. And apparently there's some sort of fucking brain reaction to that really makes you bitch out. No, not just pain, but knocking the wind out of them, and that big blunt trauma. And just, they said that those two things were all you really needed to do. However, they would waterboard for hours, dozens of sessions. That one guy, I'm gonna get his name wrong, might have been Abu Sharib. He's the one who they took one of his eyes out surgically as part of his torture and kept it.
Jesus.
But they would put him in, and they would put you in this tiny box, like in a little like pet crate, but it's not a pet crate. It's a plywood box made to torture people in because it's so tiny, and lock you up in it. And they had slots to check on you with a flashlight, and they just pour roaches in his because he was terrified of them, and leave him in there for like a day. They would, what was the other thing? Lots of music, like playing continuously. They used Barney a lot, apparently, and lots of death metal and shit like that. They wouldn't give him
fish tank.
Continuous liquid diet for years, which meant they're like shitting themselves constantly because they don't get, all they get is a diaper maybe. But that's usually they'd make the diapers out of duct tape.
Like a burlap diaper?
No, like you just start wrapping their ass with duct tape, and you got a diaper now. Yeah.
That's worse than waterboarding. Is it giving you a duct tape diaper?
You would be, there was nothing in the room except for a drain and a hook on the floor and a hook on the ceiling to chain you to, and the length of your chain depended on how much of a good boy you were. This was what we did. This isn't even when we sent them to like Syria or Thailand.
These aren't even black box, black sites, black box site, whatever.
I think this was a black site, but it was one that we were operating in. This was actually one that we were operating in Thailand, and another we were operating in Afghanistan. But the black sites, when they send someone over to let Syria work on them, like, hey, Syria, would you handle this guy for us, work on him? They pull your fingernails and rape you and electrocute you and beat you for a year until you're not a person anymore. They're super hardcore about